throwing your money in the garbage can. I find that a kind yet direct approach is the best way to shut a person down. My kids are not a distraction. Hey everyone, I hope you're having a good day. Today we're doing a Q&A. I put out a call for questions on Instagram all about money and family. And so Mike Wazowski and I are now going to answer your questions. Coffee break. What is your plan to pay off your mortgage, and what is your plan for baby step 5, funding the kids' college? Okay, so what is our plan for paying off our mortgage? Right now, we're just paying our mortgage. We're just paying it as scheduled, and we're not really doing anything to pay it off faster. And instead, we're focusing on improving our home, like making it a wonderful, well, it is a wonderful place to live, but making it a more efficient place to live. We're focusing on doing some really great things as a family, and we're putting money into our kids' college education. I did a video recently about why we're not paying off our mortgage early right now, and you can go back and watch that, but our mortgage is really low, lower than rent would be in our area. As far as paying for our kids' college funds, we have a college savings account, or a 529, I think it's 529, and we just put money in there every single month. We actually need to set one up for Jesse, so thanks for the reminder. But every month it just auto drafts into their college savings account. Motorcycle. I think it's really important, in our situation, we feel like it's really important to start that funding process early, because the bulk of our debt was Jason's student loans, and we don't want our kids to be in that position. We're not going to be paying 100% of their college. We're going to help them. They're still going to have to do scholarships, and they're still going to have to work, but our goal is to help guide them through the process so that they don't feel like they have to be dependent upon loans. I was able to graduate without student loans. Of course, it's going to be 13 years before my oldest goes to college, so a lot's going to change between now and then, but we want them to have options. Christmas is right around the corner. Have you planned and saved for it yet? Yes, because we start saving for Christmas on December 26th. Christmas is not an emergency. Remember this. You know it's coming. You have 12 months to save up for it. At this point, you only have 2 months to save up for it if you haven't started already, but go ahead and start putting a little bit of money aside. We already know what our kids are going to get, and most of it's already been purchased. I like to be done with my Christmas shopping by Thanksgiving. That way I can really enjoy the month of December. This question comes from a friend of mine, and she says, I have family that pressures us to go into debt instead of paying off our loans. Not in those words, but we often get, you need to live a little now or you'll regret it. And they judge us for saying no to things so we don't spend money. Do you have advice for this? Usually I ignore it, but it's hard to ignore when they make fun of us in front of others. Everyone has a right to an opinion on your life, first of all. But if someone is saying things in a mean way, they've lost their say. If someone's saying things in a kind way, like, I know that you guys are really committed to getting out of debt and staying out of debt, but it's okay every now and then to spend some of the money you have on doing something fun. That's kind of a nice way to say it. But the fact of the matter is, no one is going to live your life for you. And sometimes when people, family especially, gets really pushy, you, in a very polite way, need to tell them to sit down and be quiet. Like, listen, this is our life, and we're trying to provide the best future we can for our child. If you're going to fund our life, great, you get a say. But because you're not, you don't. So now it's time for you to keep that opinion to yourself. I find that a kind yet direct approach is the best way to shut a person down. 2 kids to feed, and we are currently working on baby step 2. Baby step 2 is lining up your debt, smallest to largest. I don't mind being frugal in many ways, but I have a hard time cheaping out with groceries. I know you like to feed your kids healthy. How do you recommend trying to balance shopping frugally and still buying quality food for your family? That is a great question. Here's the thing, food costs what it costs, and we can do what we can to minimize our grocery budget, but we also want to feed our kids good and nutritious food. Obviously, hello, I'm not a nutritionist, but I try really hard to make healthy choices for my children. One of the things that you can do is shop seasonally. Focus on the Clean 15. That means non-organic produce that contains fewer pesticides, and I'll put links below to the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. A great way to save on healthy food costs is by not wasting. Americans throw away half of the food they buy, which is disgusting and horrible. And a great way to save money is by making sure that what you purchase gets used. And I'm gonna do a video all about this soon. Like, by soon I mean like November. Girl, I'm tired. But make sure that you're minimizing your food wastes and you're not just throwing your money in the garbage can. Let's talk about this more. I'm gonna try to flush this out a little bit more and maybe make a video just about that. My friend Kaylin asks, what have you been learning recently or focusing on in regards to these topics? I'm a work-at-home mom and I need to work for several reasons. One of them being, the other, I want to be able to stay home with my kids as long as possible. And so to do that, I work. But one of the questions that I get a lot from work-at-home moms is, what do I do with my kids when I'm working? I get so distracted. That mindset has to shift because your kids are not a distraction. My kids are not a distraction. If my kids need me while I'm working and making money, then I stop what I'm doing and I focus on my kids. There are times when maybe I need to get something done and maybe what they're needing is like a snack and I can say, well, go in the cabinet and get it yourself and let Mama finish. And then we'll sit down together and read a book or snuggle or go outside or do whatever you want. But if my kids need me and they need attention, they're not a distraction. They're the reason I'm doing this. They're the reason I'm trying to make money from home. The reason I started my business is to be at home with my kids. So if I look at them and their needs as a distraction, then I've completely lost focus of why I'm doing all of this. And I don't want that to happen. So that means that this year I have significantly cut back on the hours that I work. I have not taken on new clients. I have hired people to help me in my business so that I can focus on my home. And so that's what I'm learning, is that these years that I'm getting at home go by so fast and they are so precious. And I don't want to spend all of my time here. Next question. We are on baby step 3. That is saving a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. And went off plan over the summer. We didn't get back in debt, but we spent money that was meant for baby step 3. Oh no. Did you struggle to stay focused at times when on baby step 3? If yes, how did you get yourself back on track? Absolutely. I absolutely struggled to stay on track with baby step 3 because I was finally debt free and I wanted to spend some money. Here's the thing. You can because you're debt free. You can loosen the reins a little bit, but you still have to save money. And what I like to focus on is 20%. Put 20% of what you're bringing home into baby step 3. 20%. That means you still get some fun money, but take 20% of your paycheck and put it into savings. My battery is flashing. I'm gonna get through this quickly. What are some of your hobbies and how do you find time to enjoy them while being a busy mom? I like to read. Reading is my hobby and I do it while I'm feeding my baby. I wish that I had time to just sit and read, but I don't. Single homeowner, what is a reasonable amount of money to have in savings? I think $1,000 is too low, but I really want to pay off my debt. Just curious what your thoughts were. I think as a single person, and again, this is just my opinion and I'm not an expert, I think a single person with no children, $1,000 is reasonable. I really do. I think once you start adding kids to the mix, you definitely need to bump up that emergency fund as things happen very, very quickly that can spiral. Emergencies with your children happen. Or your kid needs things that you weren't budgeted for and they need them now. And our family has kind of gone through that recently. We had the money, and I'll talk about this later. It's just a lot happening. And it kind of stresses me out to think about. We're okay. But if you have kids, you need way more than $1,000 in your emergency fund. That's my impassioned plea to you. Don't panic. You'll get there. It doesn't all have to be done at one time. In fact, I was talking to someone about this the other day. I think that sometimes we can get discouraged in the whole debt payoff situation because we are an immediate society. We want things right now, and it takes time. Calm down, breathe, and make a plan. Okay, if you guys have a question, a Money Monday question, leave it in the comment section below and I will slowly get to it. I am working my way through video ideas. I don't have as much time to film as I used to because, hello, 3 kids. But I love spending time with you guys. All right, I will see you guys later. Bye.